morning, everyone. Thank you so much for attending today. I think we've got a great set of people around the table and a great opportunity to discuss some of the key issues that are impacting me and impacting other marketers today. I'd love to kick off and better understand, what does leadership mean for you in the marketing organisation that you've got? Maybe Scott, we could start with you on this.
Within marketing, you obviously have your roles and responsibilities and your people, but that's not often enough to get everything over the line. And if marketing is going to be really successful, we have to go beyond the marketing department. So when we're looking to take a new product to market, or we're looking to show up really well at one of our big events, it's about bringing a number of people into that team to work together. So you normally have one person from marketing that would lead it, but they would bring different disciplines from across the business to be part of what we're trying to achieve, so that when you do go out to the market and you show up in the right way, and you haven't just shown up from what the marketing department think, but what the business thinks.
Right. But Laurence, from your perspective, you've worked some really great companies, fast growth companies. How do you see leadership in marketing? Is it about people? Is it about structure? Is it about process?
So I think that leadership is about inspiring people to work together to achieve a common goal. So the first thing is that you have to define the goal. People need to know where they are going, and they also need to know how they are going to contribute to this goal. So it's also about fair measurement and empowerment. Fantastic,
that's great. Peter, in your organisation, what does leadership in marketing mean for you?
I would echo what's been said already about the importance of focusing on individuals as part of a collective effort. One of my early mentors told me that you have to realise when you're a leader, people do look to you to set the tone, that you own the culture, and you can't allow anybody you can't think that other people are going to do that for you. So you do have an element of responsibility. Yes, it is a collective effort to try and get things done, but people look to you when things are going well, or think more often when things aren't going well, and they look to you to lead. What does leadership mean? I think one of the first things it means in my organisation certainly is winning them the licence to operate. Once we've got that, as I think a few people said, then it's about making sure people understand what their roles are and what their goals are, and encouraging to do that. I have a well-worn phrase which I use with my people, which is I am either a coach, a plumber, or a fireman. I'm there to coach them to get the best out of what they can be. If things get blocked up, I'm there to come and unblock it. And if things go wrong, I'll come and put out the fire. They have to know that when they take risks, if it goes wrong, I will have their back. Because if they don't, they will never do it. They will be risk averse, then they won't take the risk.
Lindsay, from your perspective, you are more of a startup, very agile, very dynamic. What does kind of leadership in marketing within your organisation, what does that look like?
I'd say it encompasses lots of what everybody is saying, but I'm sort of building a marketing function from the ground up. So while teams and people are very important in thinking about long-term vision and strategy about how you build those frameworks, processes and technology to help us along the way is really important. So in terms of leadership, I would say it's probably more broader across the business of helping the business understand how marketing can help really scale the growth and at speed, and then bringing in the right people to help them understand the goals that marketing can help achieve and work towards, and motivating them in that way.
And as we're starting to touch on that broader leadership across the organisation, and this is something I'm particularly passionate about, I don't feel that marketing should be in a little box tucked away and doing its thing over there. Could you talk a little bit more about, what impact do you believe that marketing should have more widely across the business? And that may be anything from HR through to culture to whatever. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly spend a lot of my time, when I joined Decibel Insight, working on the vision, the mission statement, our values, and that really was important to involve the rest of the business in. So it's getting people rallied around something to get excited about and the bigger picture of what we're working towards, because it's so easy day to day to just be working and focused on what you're doing, but it's important to keep that bigger picture.
Very good. And Scott, from your perspective, large organisation, large business, large organisation, and quite a complex business to work in, I would imagine. Where do you feel that marketing can play a role outside of just the marketing strategy and delivery of marketing?
If you've done your job properly in terms of you've set your team up right, you've generated clarity and energy within that team, and you've set the strategy, then the bit is how do you take that across the business so that the business really understands that you're meaningful to them. I think what I don't want marketing to feel like is it's being pushed onto our stakeholders. You've also got to understand who to go and man mark, because you've got so many stakeholders across the business. So I think very, very simply, understand who you want to go and spend time with. You want to spend time with most people across the business, but who are the ones you need to spend more meaningful time with, and then creating that clarity with them of what you can do for them that essentially is going to help them achieve what they're looking to do, not necessarily what the marketing team have said they want to achieve.
I mean, if you actually consider that with the proliferation of digital channels, actually marketing becomes everyone's responsibility. And therefore, so we have this concept called liquid marketing, which is about how marketing is fluid and agile, fills all the gaps in the business because it sort of needs to. So you need to go and build, so you say, all those bridges you talked about, because people not only need to understand what you're trying to do, they have a role to play in making it happen, whether it's through digital channels or social or all of those things. They become your face on the world.
Interesting. So it seems to me as though marketing has a role to play across the whole organisation. Peter, as you said, building those bridges, whether it be all the way through kind of the product and the design, the internal and external communication. And I think it's really interesting that just having that expertise coming from marketing to help those processes can really improve the not only the process but the feel and the attitude and the emotional connection coming from it as well. So we've talked about a little bit around how marketing works with other parts of the organisation. What is the role of marketing interacting at board level? Peter, within your organisation, do you think that's a transition that is possible? Do you feel that you're able to have those one-to-one, peer-to-peer conversations?
I sit on the UK executive team board. I mean, we meet once a month, and I get to sit in the room with the business runners. You absolutely have to prove to them that you understand what we do, how we make money from it, who we're selling to, who we might sell to. You need to be across that. So I have that opportunity, and it is incumbent on me, I think, to seize it and make a valued contribution when I'm in that room, not a pointless and deliberate contribution just to be seen to be there, but a valued contribution, because that's what gives marketing the license to operate. Because if I don't do that and I'm not seen to be a peer, then pretty quickly my marketing gets relegated to sort of somewhere off the side of over here.
Lindsay, you mentioned earlier about the importance of creating a vision across a business. How did you go about that with other senior managers? Were you sent off and created that yourself, or was it very much an interactive and test and learn type process?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was very much a collaborative approach. So it would be unfair to go in and say, this is my vision for the company, and everybody just needs to get on board with that. It's about, as everyone has said, it's about bringing people and senior stakeholders on the journey with you and helping them realize the importance of having a vision that people can get behind and what that means for people's personal development within teams and what they really want to be proud of achieving, as a business grows and becomes more successful. So it was really a case of building relationships with senior members, with our investors, having lots of conversations about their views on the market, about how we're positioned, and really trying to embody that in a very simple, a simple statement that anyone can understand and that we're continuously striving towards.
The other point that fascinates me about leadership is about leadership for oneself and how one develops, even when in a leadership role. But how much time are we spending on developing ourselves, and how important do we think that is? I mean, James, do you have any thoughts on that?
I think it's important to never stop learning and not to feel that you can only learn from people that have more experience than you or more senior than you. You read a lot about development and reading books, right? So it's kind of a passion of mine, just constantly sharpening the saw and putting yourself in situations that feel uncomfortable as well. I think for me that kind of typifies my development, I guess.
Lindsay, in your organisation, how do you, because I'm sure you're running at a million miles an hour, how do you keep pace? How do you learn and develop?
Well, I'm a huge advocate of mentoring other people, even on my own team, on other teams. I'm very passionate about helping people develop and hone their skills and navigating, tricky situations, in their own career development. You learn a lot that way without even realizing it. But I typically try to surround myself with brilliant people outside of work, inside of work, through networking, going to meetups, but really, you can speak to so many people, but I try to think about what are the things that I want to work on or develop. And then I try to look at people who are really good at that and then make some sort of connection. And whether it's just going for a coffee or, having a quick chat, check in every once in a while, it's really helpful to kind of have that sanity check and learn from what others are doing and again, stay relevant in your development and helping the business as well.
And Laurence, coming into a smaller, a newer organisation, where do you seek inspiration from? Where do you try and find those learning opportunities?
So first, I think that personal development does matter for two reasons. Of course, you want to get better at what you do, but also because you lead by example, and so you have to show to your team, to people around you, that you're still eager to learn and develop yourself, that you're not there, that there is always space for improvement. It's true that you learn a lot from meeting extraordinary people, and I had the luck to meet a lot of extraordinary people, along my career. But you have also to be proactive. If you just expect to learn and develop through meeting great people, yes, you're probably going to develop, but not enough. So you also have to understand, what you need to develop. And I think that self-awareness is a very important one. So, understanding that you will get the best of people when you don't expect them to act or think like you. This kind of little improvement are really, really important. And so working on, on yourself and then being more proactive. There are a lot of resources out there, there are fantastic publications, a lot of fantastic speakers, TED Talks. There are a lot of ways to improve yourself, and obviously you need to take the time to do it, but it's really worth it.
And Scott, your views on this, are you able to carve out time to kind of learn and develop?
Yeah, I force myself to do that. I know it's hard with how busy you are in your day job, but I think I've probably reinvented myself 3 or 4 times in marketing since I came out of uni. I came out of uni with a nice shiny marketing degree and I was fully qualified Chartered Institute marketeer, and I had to learn marketing from scratch. Then as time's gone on, I've had to learn new ways of working, new tools, whether that's marketing tools, understanding technologies that are happening within the business. So I've had to reinvent myself to stay relevant. Otherwise, if I'm not relevant, how can I do the job that I'm doing? So really understanding what it is I need to know more of is really important. And then also maybe showing vulnerability to your team. I'm very big on that. And also when I go and speak at conferences, show vulnerability when you're on stage that you don't know it all. And there is more that you can learn. And back to the point, I'm really lucky that within my team I've got apprentices, I've got interns, and then I've got people with 30 years plus experience. I learn from them all the time, and I've got to say the apprentices and the interns is never a meeting I have where I don't learn something from them, and therefore I like to surround myself by the early in careers. So trying to learn from people that have just come into the business or are early in career is really important, and I'm definitely with Peter. I mentor most people with Microsoft who aren't in marketing. They're in sales, they're in finance, and similarly, my mentor is nothing to do with marketing. So I talk a lot about, if I'm going to mentor you, I don't want to mentor you on your day job, I want to mentor you on your development and where you want to go as well. So people thinking about why they need a mentor rather than just saying, I need one is really important as well. And that's how I think with my mentor. It's about personal development. How do I become a better leader, not just as marketing, but also, as you've talked about, a business leader, which is really important.